Come with me to learn how to process clay from our very own natural spring. There's so much silt and clay that murkies this water that I never would have even thought would produce so much clay. After watching a few YouTube tutorials and some Pinterest ideas, I got to work. There's a couple different ways you can do this, but obviously I chose the wet method because all of the clay is in our spring water. All I needed was a bucket, a net, and a glass cup, or anything to dip water works. I purchased some cheesecloth and a small fishing net, one that you might use to dip minnows out of the water. I lined the net with the cheesecloth just to add a little extra fine catch net to it. All I'm doing is I'm scooping out the water, pouring it in the bucket, and letting it filter. The net catches all of the organic material, dirt, and sticks that you don't want mixed up in your clay. Later, I can just pull this out, dump it into another bucket, let it dry, and have great mulch for my garden. There's still some organic material, but that's okay. I'm just practicing, and so it'll all work itself out. After I get about 5 gallons of water, or less, just enough that I can carry up the hill, I carry it to my station. My station consists of a bed sheet hung in a tree over a tote. I simply pour in the water, and you would think that the water would just pour straight out, but it doesn't. It catches. This is what's left. This is all of the sand and silt that's left after the clay filters through the sheet. For 3 days, I let it drip. Every now and then, I go and work the sheet just to make the ball of clay pull itself away from the edges. It will do this naturally as the water recedes further into the sheet. Once all of the water drains, you'll have a perfect ball of clay. It'll almost look like a loaf of bread. Just be careful when you're stirring it not to mix it back up, because then it will make your clay have to resettle.
I like it.
Here you can see our loaf of clay. You just gotta smack it. After I take out the loaf, I take it to my tote lid, or if you have a table or any flat surface will work. Put out the clay and knead it just like you would any other store-bought clay. Kneading the clay helps combine all of the clay. It removes air bubbles. It will help pull out any other organic matter like sticks and rocks that you might find. You can just do this until you have a nice, thick, batter-like clay. And then I just let it sit and dry for about 2 to 3 days, checking on its consistency, making sure that it's not drying out too fast. This is after 3 days of drying. I come back and I re-knead it. This one will take a little bit longer to knead because the clay is a lot more dry than it was when we first placed it. But don't give up on it. Just keep kneading. Just keep kneading. Just keep kneading. Just keep kneading, kneading, kneading. What do we do? We knead. After a little while, you'll have a really thick, wonderful, clumpy piece of clay. Here's our clay, totally moldable. It may take some while to get it perfect before we can fire it, but this has been a very fun and rewarding process. Go out, find some water, and try processing some clay. Not only did we get a great abundance of clay, I got about 5 pounds of clay out of 10 gallons of water. But the water was filtered almost so cleanly that we recycled the water that filtered through the sheet to use for watering the garden, watering our animals, and filling our shower bags so that way we could wash our hands and bodies off outdoors after a hard day's work. Happy clay making!